Your best employee is the reason why you're stuck doing 50, 60, 70 hours a week. I know it sounds backward, but hear me out. So I had a client, let's call him Mark, £2 million business, fantastic team. One person in particular was particularly good. Her name is Sarah. She'd been with him for 6 years, knew every client, every process, handled big problems. Everyone loved her. And Mark was completely trapped because of her. Not because Sarah was doing anything wrong. She was doing everything right. And that was the problem. Today, I'm going to show you why your most capable employees might just be the biggest obstacle to your freedom. And importantly, what to do about it without losing them. So here's what was happening with Mark. Every time a big client issue came up, Sarah handled it. Every time a complex decision needed making, Sarah stepped in. Every time Mark tried to take a week off, Sarah would text him 3 times with quick questions. Now, was Sarah being malicious? Absolutely not. She was being brilliant. She was being helpful. She was being exactly what Mark had trained her to be. So years ago, when the business was smaller, Mark needed Sarah to be that person. He needed someone who could think like him, act like him, make decisions like him. And Sarah stepped up. She became indispensable. But here's the thing about indispensable employees. They don't just happen. You create them. And you create them by making one critical mistake. You give them responsibility without authority. So let me just explain what I mean here. So Mark would say to Sarah, can you handle the Johnson account? And Sarah would say, yes. 2 days later, Mark would check in. How's the Johnson account going? Did you talk to them about the pricing? What did they say? Are you sure that's the right approach? And on the surface, that looks good. Good management, you're staying involved, you're supporting the team member. But what you're actually doing is training Sarah and employees like that her decisions don't really count until you approve them. So Sarah learns to loop you in on everything, because the one time she doesn't, you might question it. And she doesn't want to get that wrong, you see. So this is how you become the bottleneck. You think that you're delegating, but you're actually just outsourcing the work while keeping the decision making. And your best employee becomes really good at doing the work and then waiting for your approval. So let me give you 3 signs that this is happening in your business. So the first sign, the quick question epidemic. So your team asks many different questions or multiple times, a quick question every day. These aren't big strategic questions. These are questions like, should I send this email? Or is this price okay? Or can I approve this expense? These are decision-making questions disguised as information questions. So your team is asking for permission, not information. Sign 2 is the holiday test. So when you go on holiday, you don't fully switch off. You check emails, you respond to messages, you feel anxious about what's happening back at the business. And you tell yourself it's because you care, because things are really busy right now. But the real reason, your team hasn't been trained to make decisions without you. They're capable of doing the work, but they wait for you to decide. And then the third sign is they're really not ready, or the belief that they're really not ready. So you genuinely believe the team isn't ready to handle certain things. They don't have enough experience, or they don't see the big picture, or they don't understand clients like I do. And you might be right, but ask yourself this: why aren't they ready? Is it because they lack capability, or is it because every time they try to step up, you step in? So if you recognize yourself in any of those signs, you've built a business where you're successful, but also where your best people are accidentally keeping you trapped. So what do? How do you fix this then without things falling apart? Well, this is where most business coaches will tell you just to let go or just trust your team more. And that's advice. And I don't believe that's the right advice. Your team isn't ready to make big decisions because you haven't trained them to make small ones. So here's what I taught Mark, and I call it the decision ladder. So step one is make a list of every decision you make in a typical day. Not just the big ones, but every decision. Pricing approval, approvals, hiring decisions, client onboarding processes, expense approvals, scheduling changes, everything. So Mike had a list of about 47 different things on it. And when he saw it written down, he finally understood why he was so exhausted. The second step is sort those decisions into 4 levels. So the first level would be decisions under £100 or routine operation stuff. The second level is decisions under £1,000 or involving a client. The third level is decisions under £10,000 or involving multiple clients. And the fourth level is strategic decisions, major investment in customer, company direction. So step 3 is to pick one person and give them full authority over level 1 decisions. This is crucial, not responsibility, authority. So Sarah got full authority over anything under £100 and routine operations. Mark told her, you don't need to ask me, you don't need to tell me unless anything goes wrong. These decisions are yours, and I'll not question them, I'll not second guess them, I will support you 100% whatever you would decide. Easy for me to say. So that last part is crucial because the first time Sarah makes a decision you don't like, your instinct will be to step in and say, right, well, you should have done this or correct it. But don't. Unless it's genuinely going to cause serious damage, let it play out. She needs to learn from her decisions, not from your decisions. So step 4, once they're confident at level 1, move on to level 2. But don't rush this, okay? So it took Mark about 6 weeks before Sarah was truly comfortable making level 1 decisions without checking in. But here's what happened. Once Sarah realized that Mark was genuinely trusted her and trusted her judgment, she'd start bringing him better questions. Not just, can I do this? But here's what... Not just, can I do this? But here's what I'm planning to do. Does this align with the strategy? So she went from needing approval to seeking strategic alignment, if you like. Within 4 months, Sarah was handling all level 1 and level 2 decisions independently of Mark. And he went from 47 decisions a week to about 12. Now, here's the hard part that nobody talks about. When you do this properly, something uncomfortable happens. You realize that some of your best employees don't actually want this responsibility. They're great at they're great at executing your decisions, but they're terrible at making their own. And that's okay. Not everybody wants to be a decision maker. But you need to know who does and who doesn't, because your business growth depends on it. So Mark discovered that Sarah loved the new authority. She thrived on it, but another team member, someone Mark thought was a leadership material, completely folded. He didn't want to make the decisions. He wanted to just be told what to do and execute it perfectly. And again, that's not a bad employee. That's just a different employee, right? You need both types, but you need to know which is which. So the uncomfortable truth is this. If you want business to grow beyond you, you need a team of decision makers, not just task completers. And that starts with you letting go of decisions that don't need to be yours. So your best employee isn't destroying your business on purpose. They're destroying it because you've trained them to need you. And the only person who can fix that is you. So here's what I want you to do this next week. Make a list, write it down, every decision you're making, be honest about it. How many of them could be made by someone else? Someone else, if you actually gave them authority to do it. Then pick one person, one level of decisions, and genuinely hand it over. Give them full authority. If you want the exact framework I use with my clients, the decision ladder template, the conversion script for handing over authority, and the weekly check-in process that keeps things on track without micromanaging, I put together a free guide. The link's in the description. It's called the Bottleneck Breakthrough Framework. And look, if you found this useful, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can catch the next video. I put out content like this every week to help business owners build their businesses that don't need them to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. I'm Nick Gray, and I'll catch you next time. Have fun.